Hello viewers, welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to be looking at a tool called Kustomize. Kustomize is a neat, simple tool that allows you to customize and template your resource manifest. So instead of explaining, if I show you some quick examples, it will give you a rough idea of how you can start using Kustomize. Obviously, there are lots of documentations out for Kustomize, which I will show you at the end of this video, but it's very simple. It's not a big deal. So let's start by doing some examples, okay? So I've got my Kubernetes cluster, kubectl get nodes. It's a 3-node cluster. It's based on Rancher's K3D. The idea is to start with a template manifest and then start customizing that manifest file depending on where you want to deploy and other things like that, okay? So if I show you a quick example, it will make a lot of sense. So I'm inside the play directory. I'm going to create a directory called demo. Let me actually open this up in Visual Studio Code. We are in demo. Back in the terminal, I'm just going to create a resource manifest for a deployment. So kubectl create deploy nginx -- image nginx. I'm not actually deploying it, but I'm just doing a dry run so that I can grab the output and then write it to a file. So deployment.yaml, and here I'm just going to delete the lines that I don't actually need, creation timestamp which I don't need, and then strategy, I don't need that, creation timestamp, I don't need that. Okay, so that's the bare minimum that I need. Let me also increase the size of the font so that you can see better. So that's a very simple deployment manifest I've got under the demo directory, and if you want to deploy it, what you normally do, kubectl create -f dot, okay, that's created. Kubectl get all, if I type the name correctly, kubectl get all, that's running fine. That's okay, no big deal. We've got a deployment manifest and we just deployed it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a file called customization.yaml. Okay, create a new file called customization.yaml, and the only thing I'm going to add here is resources, and I want to include deployment.yaml. Actually, deployment.yaml, I'm going to move that inside the demo directory. Okay, so in here, if I do an ls, so I've got the demo directory, and inside the demo directory I have the deployment YAML, that's the actual manifest, and I've also got the customization.yaml. So if you're using Kustomize, either through the Kustomize binary, which we will see later, or using the built-in kubectl command, it will expect a file called customization.yaml. Okay, so the bare minimum that's required in this file is the list of resources that you're going to deploy. So in my case, I'm inside the demo directory and I want to include this deployment.yaml. So far we haven't done anything different. We've just included the resource that we want to deploy inside the customization.yaml. You can do whatever you want here. Say, for example, if you've got a service.yaml inside this demo directory, you can include that, and maybe you've got subdirectories called build, source, and then nginx.yaml or whatever it is. Or if you want to include all the manifest inside a particular directory, just specify the directory here. But in my case, I've only got the deployment.yaml, so I'm just including the deployment.yaml in my customization.yaml. So how do we run it? From now on, I'm not going to edit the deployment.yaml. So that's the idea. So I'm going to start with the bare minimum. So that's a very basic deployment manifest that I need, but I'm going to customize depending on my needs, but I'm not going to touch this deployment.yaml file. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to update the deployment.yaml through this customization.yaml. Let me add one more thing. Okay, common labels. So what I'm doing here is, so I'm using the same deployment.yaml, but in the customization I'm specifying I want to apply this label to all the resources that are managed through this Kustomize. Okay, so let's say owner is Venkat. So that's the customization.yaml. I'm saying what I want to include. In this case, it's deployment.yaml, and the only customization that I'm doing is adding a label to all the resources that I'm deploying through this customization.yaml. In my case, it's just this one deployment, which is a deployment. So all the resources that the deployment is going to create, the deployment itself, the replica set, the pods, the containers, everything will have this label owner is Venkat. So as you can see here, I'm not touching the deployment.yaml. All I'm doing is updating this in the customization.yaml. So now how about deploying this in our cluster? So there are a couple of ways. One is using the Kustomize binary, which I'll show you now. Okay, let's go to Kustomize Github and download the Kustomize binary. If I go to the GitHub and go to the releases page, so the first one is kyaml, we don't need that. Config, no. Kubernetes, Kustomize, yeah, version 3.8.5. Assets, and I'm going to download Linux AMD 64 and wget. Just downloading that tar.gz file. So I've got that tar. I'm extracting the zip file. Okay, so I've got the Kustomize binary here, and I'm going to move this Kustomize binary to use a local bin. And now if I do which Kustomize, which Kustomize, it's in user local bin, and I can do Kustomize version. Okay, version 3.8.5. Okay, so that's one way. But if you happen to use an Arch-based operating system, it comes with the official Arch repository itself. Okay, so let me remove user local bin Kustomize that I extracted, and I'm also going to remove the tar file that I downloaded. Okay, so as I'm using Arch-based, it's actually Arch Linux, I can install it from my official repository. Okay, as you can see here, Kustomize version 3.8.5, it's available in the Arch repository. Which Kustomize version, okay, 3.8.5, which is same as version 3.8.5. So I've got Kustomize binary downloaded to my system, and I'm inside the play directory, and I've got these Kustomization.yaml and the actual manifest inside the demo directory. If I do kubectl get all, I don't have, that's the old one, let me delete that. Kubectl delete deploy nginx kubectl get all. Okay, so that's gone. Alright, so there are two ways. One is using the Kustomize binary itself, and if I do Kustomize, and you have to do build, Kustomize build, and the directory is demo. So demo is the directory. Let me cd into the demo directory so I don't have to type demo every time. Okay, so I can do Kustomize build dot, and if you just do Kustomize build and the current directory where you've got the Kustomization.yaml file, it's going to spit out the resulting YAML file. Okay, so that's all it's going to do. So based on your customization, whatever customization you've got, you might have got loads of customization. So depending on that, it's just going to give you a resulting file that you can then apply in your Kubernetes cluster. Maybe you can do this and you can redirect that to a file called mydeployment.yaml, and then you can do kubectl create -f mydeployment.yaml or something like that. Okay, so let me delete that file, and if you can see here, Kustomize build, and you can see the label has been applied. So that's the customization that has been applied to my deployment manifest. So owner is Venkat, owner is Venkat, owner is Venkat. So that's the label. Okay, so how do we apply it? Kustomize build dot, I can pipe this to kubectl create -f dash. Okay, so that's one way. If you're running a Kubernetes cluster of version 1.14 or newer, Kustomize has been built into the kubectl binary, so you can use it without having to use the Kustomize binary. Okay, so the command is kubectl create -k. Instead of -f, you have to specify -k or --kustomize. Okay, so I'm going to say kubectl create -k and dot, which is the current directory where I've got my customization.yaml. Okay, so that's done. Kubectl get all. Okay, so our nginx is running. So what was the customization we did? We added the labels owner is Venkat to all our resources. Let's see if that has been applied. Kubectl get all ---- show labels. Okay, so that's our deployment. It has the label owner is Venkat, replica set, it has that label, and the pod also has that label owner is Venkat. Okay, so let's delete this. Kubectl delete -k dot kubectl get all. Okay, so that's gone. Okay, so what else can we do? So imagine that you've got different environments. Let's say you've got a production environment, you've got a staging environment, you've got a development or testing environment, and so on. And you want to use the same manifest, but you want to customize it depending on in which environment you want to deploy. Okay, let me show you how you can actually do that. So we've got the demo directory, and we have this customization at the top level, and I'm going to create subdirectories for each of the environment. Let me show you quickly. Okay, inside the demo, I'm going to create a new folder called dev, and I'm also going to create another folder called prod, and I'm also going to create another folder called overlays, and another folder called base. So I'm going to move the deployment and the customization to the base directory, and dev and the prod folder under overlay. So it might be a bit confusing, but if you look in here, I've got the demo directory. Let me show you here in. Okay, so I've got the base where I've got the deployment.yaml, the actual file that I'm customizing, and there is one customization at the top level in the base directory. And now I've got two directories, dev and prod, inside the overlays directory. Okay, let me go back here. So I'm going to create a customization file under the dev directory, customization.yaml, and the only thing that I need to include here is bases. Okay, and my base is actually here, deployment.yaml, customization.yaml. What I actually want to include in this customization, remember I'm inside the dev directory, so whatever I'm deploying here, my idea is I want to customize this for my dev environment, and then later I will show you how I will customize the same template for my prod environment. Okay, so basis, all I want to do is I want to include this deployment.yaml and customization.yaml. So I think it's two directory above, and it's called base. So I'm inside the dev directory. So one level above is overlay, and another level above is demo, and we've got the base directory here, there. Okay, let's do one customization now. Name prefix dev dash, and what I'm actually doing is I'm just using the same customization.yaml file, and the only customization that I'm doing here is I'm prefixing all the resources with the name dev dash. So let me copy that file and paste it inside the prod, and I'm going to change the name prefix to prod. That's it. So I've just created two customization.yaml file, one inside the dev directory, one inside the prod directory, and I've included all my resources from the base directory. And the customization that I'm doing is, in addition to this customization where I'm adding the label, I'm adding one more customization, which is adding a name prefix. All the resources that I'm deploying, deployment, replica set, pods, everything will have a prefix called dev, and in production everything will have a prefix called prod. Okay, let's try this out, and let's use customize and see what YAML it generates. Customize, build, and this time it's inside overlays dev. Okay, and you can see here name of the deployment is dev/nginx, and the name of the pod will get its name from the deployment when we deploy it. And if I do overlays and the prod directory, you can see the name of the deployment is prod/nginx. So we've got this customization inside. We don't have anything else. We didn't copy the deployment.yaml. It's in the base directory, and we just have the customization that we want to apply, and we just refer it uses the basis directory. Okay, let's try and deploy it. kubectl create -k, and our customization file is under overlays dev. Okay, that's done. If I do kubectl get all, and you can see the deployment has the name dev/nginx, and the pod has the name dev/nginx, replica set dev/nginx. Okay, let's delete that. kubectl delete -k, overlays dev, and now let's try the other one, prod. kubectl get all, and the deployment name is prod/nginx, replica set, and the pod has the name prod-nginx. Okay, that's cool. Let's delete that. kubectl delete prod. kubectl get all. Okay, so we are good to go now. Alright, what else can we do? Customization.yaml. Okay, let's say I want to add another customization. Let's add common labels again here. So another layer of customization. Common labels, I'm gonna specify, I'm gonna say environment is dev, save that and copy, and in the prod customization paste that the environment is going to be prod. Okay, so this time we've got two layers of customization. One is the customization.yaml in the base directory itself, where we are just adding a common label, owner is Venkat. On top of that, depending on whether you're using this customization or this customization, it will add additional label. So environment is dev if you're using the customization under dev directory, and the environment is prod if you're using the customization under the prod directory. Okay, let's try and deploy that. kubectl create -k dev kubectl get all -- show labels. Okay, so we've got the owner equals Venkat from the base customization, and we also have env is dev. Similarly, for the pod as well, we've got the owner and the end label got applied correctly. And let's do the other one as well. kubectl create overlays. Let's use the prod this time. Okay, and for prod, you can see environment is prod, owner is Venkat. Environment is prod, owner is Venkat. That's all looking good. Okay, let's delete it. And let's also delete the dev one. Okay, kubectl get all. Alright, that's gone. Okay, so finally I would like to show you one more thing. There are certain things that you can customize, like common labels. You can also have things like common annotations. Let's say any annotation if you want, name or machine class, colon, super fast, or something like that, whatever you want. So common annotation. So there are, I'll show you shortly where you can find all these. There is documentation for Kustomize that you can do different things. So you might be asking, how do I know in the customization.yaml, how do I know about using this basis, name prefix, common labels, and what else? I don't know. So there is a documentation that we can check. Let me show you right away. Okay, so here, Kustomize, let me go to the GitHub page, and we should have a documentation link there. Where is it? Okay, general documentation and installation guide. It's under the API reference. Okay, so that's the customization.yaml reference. I've used basis, I've used common labels, common annotations, resources, patches. I'll show you how to use patches. Images, if you want to change the image, you can use variables. You can use config map generator, where you can create a dynamic config map based on the file, based on variables, and lots of different things that you can do. But I just want to finish this by showing you an example for patches. Okay, so let's go to our code, and what I want to do here is, let's say I've got this Nginx deployment. I want to run 2 replicas if it's been deployed to the dev environment. But if it's been deployed to the prod environment, I want to deploy a 3 replica deployment. Okay, so that's the thing that I want to do. For that, I'm going to copy this deployment.yaml, and I'm going to paste that inside each of these directory, dev and prod, because I'm going to customize the number of replicas. So inside the dev, I'm going to create a new file called replica count.yaml. It can be any name, whatever you like. Replica count.yaml, paste that, and I'm going to delete everything except the thing that I need. Okay, and I also don't need the labels. Okay, so just to identify to what resource this particular patch applies to, we just need to be able to identify the resource that we are applying this patch for. It's a kind deployment, and the metadata is Nginx. So by that, it can easily identify to which resource we are applying this patch to. Okay, so replicas, I'm going to specify the number of replicas as 2, save the file, and I am again going to copy this, paste it inside the prod directory, and here I'm going to specify the number of replicas as 3. So that's done. The file name is replica-count, so we need to include that in our customization.yaml. So under dev directory, I want to say patches, and I'm going to specify my patch file which is replica count.yaml. Let me also copy that and paste it inside the customization in the prod directory replica count.yaml. Okay, so what we've done now is we've created a new file that contains the patch that we want to apply, and it also specifies to which resource we want to apply this patch to. And in the customization, we've listed all the patches that we want to apply. So let's try this. kubectl get all, we don't have anything. And if I do customize build overlays dev, it's just going to show you what the YAML it's going to generate. Okay, so that has generated a YAML, and you can see here it has applied the customization. Owner is Venkat, environment is dev, replicas is 2, that's the patch that we applied. And if I do that for the prod environment, you can see replicas is 3. Okay, let's do a quick testing. kubectl create -k dev kubectl get all. There we go. So we've got 2 replicas of Nginx running. Let's delete that, and let's create the prod one, kubectl get all. Okay, so in this case we've got 3 replicas of Nginx running, so our customization has worked very well. Okay, I think that's all I wanted to show you. I just covered a few little things briefly, but if you want to explore further, just go to this API reference documentation. It's very neat and simple tool that you can use to customize and template your manifest. So you don't have to, like I said in the beginning, so that's the deployment.yaml that I started with, but I didn't change that since then. Give this a try. Let me know if you've got any questions. I'll be happy to help, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye bye.